Scales of Music podcast.
Like, this guy's gonna be around for a long time.
Put Nickelback on the list. Put them on the list.
He is amazing. So yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Welcome to Season 2 of the Scales of Music podcast. With me, Michael Alvis, and our lovely other host, Mr. Zack Tinsley. A little skimmy on the voice today, but he'll be with us. And Zack, how you doing, man? Any weather down there?
I mean, I'm doing good. I sound like I'm, smoking 6 packs a day and, working in a coal mine or something. But I assure you I'm fine. I like twice a year I get a sinus infection so bad that I just lose my voice. And here we are. But weather-wise, actually, we're doing all right. It's weird. Like, it says it's 30 degrees all day, but I've been outside doing stuff. It's really strange. I think it's coming at night. So we're about to be locked in for a couple days. So it's good to finally be back recording. It's been almost 2 months since we've actually recorded an episode. So this is, I wish it was under better circumstances and I didn't sound like, late stage Tom Waits. So, yeah.
Nice comparison there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, first off, welcome back. It is Season 2. I just want to give you guys a quick little overview of what to expect this season. So we're going to have episodes of Zack and I talking about various topics, having some good discussion. Episodes with some artists and some other guests of mine. Hopefully to have some guests of the music industry themselves. Also, throughout the month, and I'm trying to do this maybe like every other week or every week if I have enough time to get around it, I'm going to be giving out recommendations on music. Michael's Music Monday is what it's going to be called. And you'll be seeing those if you follow our podcast on the podcast sources, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, places like that. But you'll also see those on YouTube as well, as all video will be coming to you this year, and we'll be doing it from here on out, and everything will be going to YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe the Scales of Music podcast channel that will be coming this spring. Looking forward to it. So, this brings us to our topic today. Next weekend, we've got probably one of the most monumental, and I have to say this, most monumental Super Bowls of all time. Simply because of who's playing in it.
It'll be the
but
first
also
time,
who's doing the halftime show.
the first time in 19 years that either Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, or the San Francisco 49ers are not in the Super Bowl. Like, this is... And Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow are. So, I mean, it's we're talking about monumental. This is literally the start of a new era, right?
It really is. And with Brady retiring right before it, it's just like...
And Roethlisberger.
It's done.
Yeah.
Like, what we grew up on as quarterbacks is done.
There are no quarterbacks left in the NFL that have won more than one Super Bowl. None.
Well, no. Jimmy G is.
Well, not that started.
Not that started, but he's technically he's the only one that's in the league. But
he wasn't the starting quarterback. That doesn't count.
Yeah. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
He might come to Indy. He might come to he might go to Denver. You never know. But I think Rodgers might end up going to Denver. But we'll see how that goes. Anyways, so today we are going to talk about this upcoming Super Bowl show. This Super Bowl halftime show. That is, to a lot of people already, especially like Zack and I's age, and it's like 40, like I'm seeing like 44 maybe. Sorry, guys. Sorry, no offense. Don't take no offense to age. But we are getting blessed with the performance of a lifetime. The Super Bowl halftime show is going to consist of these artists. I'm putting her first because she's a queen. Mary J. Blige. We have Kendrick Lamar, a gentleman that got passed the torch from the OGs. Snoop Dogg, Snoop D-O-double-G. Snoop Line, if you want to call it, if you like his reggae albums. I didn't really care for it. Eminem, big fan here. I already told Kelly, like, if your family if your family talks while he's performing, I'm going to be upset. And then Dr. Dre. Literally, probably one of the most monumental combos in music that I think I've possibly ever seen.
Well,
what's your take on like them putting together this group, so to speak?
Well, they haven't really had any true hip hop, right, since 2004. After MTV passed the torch on because they were forced to, because a boob popped out. I mean, I know we had the Black Eyed Peas, but I don't.
Miss Jackson, if you nasty, whoops.
I don't know if I necessarily consider them as hip hop as what we have happening in a week, right? I mean, they not with Fergie at least. They're more like kind of R&B with rap infused in it. You know what I mean? Either that or I just hate them so much that I want to pretend like that didn't happen. What's funny is they're like actually talented, but put them all together and they're kind of trash. So, but I mean, I'm excited. I think it's cool. I think if you're going to have an all-star lineup of hip hop, this is it, right? I mean, you basically have Death Row, Interscope coming together, right? You have, I'm curious about the Missy Elliott a little bit. I'm not necessarily sure she would be the choice for me.
Wait, Missy Elliott's involved?
Oh wait, who is the other one?
It's Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige. I'm like, wait a minute, Missy's done it before already.
Sorry,
I'm like,
Mary J.
hold
Blige.
up.
Sorry.
I said, where?
Sorry.
Let me work.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mary J. Blige. My bad. I don't know. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of her stuff, but it does make sense that they're bringing on Kendrick because, you know, he's probably the best rapper of today's generation of hip hop artists, right? People that started making
100%.
People that started making hip hop after 2010. He's probably the best. So in order to have that,
as far as like actual rappers concerned,
right? Yeah. So he doesn't mumble like he actually raps. So I think
he stays humble,
right? So it's good. I think it makes sense that they have him because they have to draw in kind of the younger audience, right? There's probably a lot of the younger audience that, I mean, let's just be real. Like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are their dads. You know, that's what they are, right? Eminem's kind of an in between, but Kendrick is. So it makes sense. Like I said, Mary J. Blige is. Maybe she's bigger than I think she is. I'm like, so I even totally forgot it was her. I thought it was Missy Elliott, and you just said it.
I mean, she is. I mean, like she was dominant when Mary was out. She was dominant, but she was also not like very prominent as far as like boom, boom, boom. I'm leaving my footprint. She knew who she was. She did what she did, and she did her thing, and that was really about it. But those who are like avid fans of like R&B stuff like that, they liked it. Like for me, like her 411 album, great. Right. I got the cassette of it in the box right over here. Love 411. And then, you know, it's just like she got on the Touch It remix with Busta Rhymes and showing that she not only is a talented vocalistically, but she can also lay down some bars with the best of them. Right. As far as female rap artists and giving some of the male artists that were on that track a run for their money in the first place. So it's she's not like big. It's just like I would say Missy Elliott's probably more known than she is.
Right.
No disrespect, but Mary is definitely one of the best as far as like 90s R&B is concerned. Well, late 90s, early 2000s R&B.
No, I agree with that. And I think that's what they're trying to do, right? They're kind of doing this 90s thing, this 90s hip hop.
That's what it feels like.
And you see they've done that in Super Bowls before where they've had kind of classic. And here's what's crazy, man. And this is just a fact, just a reality. There is such thing as classic hip hop now, right? Like classic rock is Boston and Foreigner and Journey and Van Halen and
think on that, people. Classic hip hop.
Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, even though they still kind of make stuff now. I mean, that's what they are.
Can we still call it old school? Is it old school now, though?
Old school hip hop, yes. But I mean, that's what it is, though, right? I mean,
but we can now officially call it a classic.
It's literally classic rap.
Oh, this is...
Because think about it. AC/DC just came out with a new album last year, but yet you would still categorize them as classic rock, right?
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
And that album was great, by the way.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
It gave me that classic rock feel.
Yeah, even though Snoop Dogg is still coming out with new music, come on. It's Doggy Style. Like that. That's Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he makes. And I'll go as far as to say this. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I bet they don't play a single song like those two. I bet they don't play a single song post 2000, with the exception of maybe Drop It Like It's Hot since it went number one.
I can see that. I mean, as far as Snoop songs considered?
Dre, Blige, and Snoop. Yes, I bet you they don't play a single song post 2001.
I mean, the only real song that Dre had past 2001 was "I Need a Doctor." That went big. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
No, I mean, he didn't do much after.
Mary had "Touch It" just because that was Busta. And again, we may be wrong here. If you guys know some songs that we're not getting, send them to us. Leave them in the comments on the podcast and on YouTube. Leave it. But yeah, I don't know. I got a feeling something's going to come up. I got a feeling. I mean, a lot of Eminem's new stuff's going to be played. Period. Kendrick. I mean, obviously, so is Kendrick because he's past that period. But I don't know. I can't really think of any songs. I think you're right. Dang it! No, I want to know. I gotta look now.
I mean, I'm not necessarily sure that a lot of Eminem's new stuff will be played. Because think about...
I think stuff off of Kamikaze will. Venom will.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so. So, if you want my prediction, I think they're just going to play their absolute biggest stuff. And because there's, 5 of them?
If he doesn't do Stan, I'll be upset.
I mean, he might, but I mean, again, think about when Maroon 5 did it.
With Elton John.
When Maroon 5 came out and played, what did they play? They played like a ton of stuff from their first 2 albums, right?
That's what they did at their concert. They played nothing to Jordy or nothing else. They played everything about their first 2 albums.
Which I was like super surprised. I was like, wow.
First 3, actually.
They've had all this success post Moves Like Jagger, and they played 2 songs that were not on their first 2 albums, which I just found shocking. So I guess for me, I think what these people are going to be given a sample of maybe 3 songs each, right? And if it's not I Love the Way You Lie, I think that's the only Eminem song that's going to be played, because all the rest of them don't really make sense in the context of a Super Bowl. Does that make sense?
Not Afraid.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
let's say
hold on.
he gets 3 songs. Okay. right?
Uh-huh.
What are those 3 songs? Eminem.
Marshall?
Yes.
Ooh.
Real Slim Shady,
So,
Without Me.
Till I Collapse.
Real Slim Shady and Without Me are 1 and 2. Now you got to
for
pick
sure.
a third.
I would say possibly Till I Collapse just because of Nate Dogg.
Which is famous because of a video game. You know what I mean?
I mean, but still.
I would be shocked if he plays that.
Well, no, okay, you can't.
I'll be shocked
that
if
song
he plays
isn't
it.
solely famous just because of a video game. Nate Dogg he played a lot on that too.
I agree.
But I agree.
I'll be shocked if he plays that.
I don't think
They're playing Forgot About
know.
Dre for sure.
That's
will
what I'm saying. Like
happen.
either that or
Right.
as far as Eminem's songs are concerned, performance-wise, what do you for sure think is going to be there?
I mean, I think Without Me is 100% getting played. I think Lose Yourself is 100% getting played. And if I had to guess, it might be like, again, Love the Way You Lie, which is the biggest song that he has post Curtain Call.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm like, you think Love You Way You Lie is bigger than his earlier? I was like,
No,
whoa. But I see it.
It's number 1 on iTunes for him.
Yeah.
And I might do the Real Slim Shady. But that would be he does 4. I'm just saying he's not doing Lose Yourself or Without Me, I don't think. I'd be shocked if those 2 songs don't happen.
Yeah.
Lose Yourself, number 1.
Yeah.
And then I think
it's gotta
he
be done.
might play a newer Eminem song, which would be...
He might do Godzilla.
Yeah, I could see that too, just because of how crazy it is, that or Rap God.
Yeah.
So he's also going to be a part of Forgot About Dre, right? So like he'll be a part of that. The question is, who do you think comes out first?
Ooh. See, this is why I like this stuff, people. This is why I put this together, because you get to talk about elements like this. Ooh, I just got goosebumps. Dude, that's hard because everybody's so dynamic.
I think it'll be Snoop.
You think?
Well, here's why. Here's this is my prediction. Here's my prediction.
SoFi Cali.
All right. My prediction is Snoop and Dre will start because they're kind of the headliners. They're like, they're the reason this is all happening.
Yeah, the OGs.
I think it will start with like their songs together and some of the things that they do. Then they'll go to Mary J. Blige because she's like way lesser known. They'll do a little thing together. She'll be right in the middle because like nobody cares about her. Sorry, Mary J. I know you might be nice, but I don't think anyone cares. I don't, man. I'm looking at her.
I'm sorry, Mary.
I'm looking at her songs. I don't know any of them. I'm sure she's fine. I think Kendrick will come out next because he's very popular, and that's when they'll like be like, oh, special guest, kind of like when Red Hot Chili Peppers came out with Bruno Mars. Then Eminem will come out last. He will do his thing. Then Dre, Snoop, and Eminem will all do their thing together, and that's how they'll end it. That would be my prediction.
Can I tell you what I think may happen?
Yes. Hologram Tupac.
Yes. Something tells me. Yes. Something tells me that may or may not happen just because, one, I'm thinking of it because of everything that's going on right now. Two, where it's located, it's in California. Dre's involved.
Dude.
Snoop Dogg's involved.
think about this.
California Love has to be done. And if Hologram, Tupac, and Add On Bell, Fresh Out, if I don't see that, I'm gonna be upset.
I mean, think about if the Super Bowl, right? Like, lights come up, Dre comes out, they do, Dre Day, they do some of this other stuff, right? And then, like, right in the middle of the show, it just, like, goes all black, field goes black, and then all of a sudden, like, come with me, oh, merry-go-run, see.
Bruh.
Like, and then all of a sudden, like, the hologram Hail Mary comes out, like, that would be...
Oh, I'd freak out.
Yeah, like, think about that.
Oh, I'd freak out. Oh, man. Ooh, I got goosebumps. Like, seriously, like, I think, especially being in SoFi Stadium, something can be done. Mm-hmm. More than likely with some sort of something. I mean, because we saw with what JT did in Minnesota with the drapes and the approved by the estate video clips and sound bites that he used with the blankets for that portion of his performance. Sorry, I had to say that because people were pissed off about that. And I'm like, he got it from the estate. It's just, let it happen. It's okay. It's all right. Anyways, but yeah, they're in California. Snoop, Dre's involved. California, LA. More times than not, I'm thinking Tupac may show up somehow, some way. We've seen a hologram once before at Coachella. Looked pretty dang good. Snoop's already been involved with it once before. So, yeah. I'm banking on Pac being involved. I won't be like upset, but kind of disappointed that they didn't think of the idea. Or they thought of it and they just can't pull it off.
Right. I mean, I think there's a lot of things they could do with this. You know what I mean? But to come back around to a question that I was thinking about was, why do you think the Super Bowl is such a big deal? Like, it's so scrutinized, right? Like, Coldplay does the Super Bowl and everybody's like, this is garbage, right? But Coldplay's a good band.
I was kind of upset about that.
Coldplay is a good band. But then they did the Super Bowl.
They're phenomenal.
And literally everyone was like, why am I watching this trash? Right? And then you have other things
See
like...
how booties in their face.
Yeah, you have like Lady Gaga, and she does a really good job. Then Katy Perry, you're like, what am I watching? Like, it's so...
Left shark.
Yeah, and then Maroon 5 comes on. They play all the songs I want them to play, but everybody's like, this is so bad, So
until the girls were happy when he took his shirt off.
Yeah. Right. So why do you think it's like such a big deal that like it? I mean, it's just a thing. It's just like a halftime performance. Like, who cares?
I think it's just because. Well, I mean, it's already blown up just because it's the Super Bowl. It's the last game of the NFL season, so it's got a lot of hype behind it already. And then you add on just the simple fact that celebrities are going to be there already. So it's like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? But then, Pepsi always has to go big for the halftime show every year. And, it's just, I don't think it's necessary that we regard it as like a big show every year, but I think people like get so much anticipation behind it that it's just like they keep talking, and then marketing's like, let's eat up on it. People are full of anticipation. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, I think you can hype it up as much as you want, even with, I mean, going back to the history of some of the Super Bowls. I mean, there were just like, it was just bands. Like before the 80s showed up, like before the 80s got there, it was just like marching bands from colleges and stuff like that. And then I think the first actual group to kind of be involved was New Kids on the Block, as far as a
1991
group or artist.
A Small World tribute to 25 years of the Super Bowl, performed by New Kids on the Block. And then it was Gloria Estefan, and then the world was changed in 1993.
Yes, the 1993 performance of Mr. Michael Jackson.
Yeah. That's
phenomenal.
when it really became what it is.
Yeah, see, and that's
It's true.
he the bar was set in '93 as a halftime show, and from there on out, everybody's like, how big can you make it?
Well, yeah, I mean,
because you look, was it?
Yeah, in
the thing about it
1994
is,
they had like the big country ensemble. Then in 1995,
it was the Judds,
that's
Randy
when they
Travis,
had the rock from the Indiana Jones like rolling out onto the field.
Wasn't that Springsteen?
That was Tony Bennett
he...
and Patti LaBelle.
Ooh, I didn't see that one. That's a weird combo.
You know the one I remember, like the first one I remember? I can remember like that from my earliest memory of I remember that Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Was the Blues Brothers with James Brown and ZZ Top in 1997. Because James Brown came off like the high. Like James Brown was up and he was like, yeah, and he was singing that and he was like coming down the rafters or whatever. And right when he got down, that was when ZZ Top like did their like, you know, signature guitar spin. I don't know. I remember that. I don't know why.
Yeah. So since we're talking about this, you know, this is kind of like one of my most anticipated moments, just because, you know, I was like, well, let's talk about who's performed in the past and just kind of talk about that too. Let's talk about, and you're talking about pairings, and I completely forgot about this. In 2001, they had Aerosmith paired up with Nsync.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was the big MTV era.
I'm sorry. Can we have a moment of silence for what MTV used to be?
I mean, 2000 was Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Enrique Iglesias, and Tony Braxton. In 2002 was Aerosmith, Nsync, Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly. Then they did the U2 thing.
That was a lineup.
Then they did the U2 thing because of September 11. Then they went right back to it with Shania Twain, No Doubt, and Sting. And then in 2004...
I remember that one. That was fun.
2004 was the year that MTV was like, you know, maybe we... I mean, dude, listen to this. This is how many people they had. Janet Jackson, Kid Rock, P. Diddy, Jessica Simpson, Nelly, Justin Timberlake with a marching band.
And the theme was called Choose or Lose. Not necessarily for sure what that means, but yeah, the marching. So they did The Way You Move, All
Choose
For
or
You,
Lose,
Bad Boy for Life.
Lose the front end of a boobie.
Hot in Here, Mo Money, Mo Problems. I forgot about that. Yeah, Baba
Yeah, remember he came out in like a baby blue like Chevelle or something like that. So stupid.
Cowboy, Rhythm Nation, probably my favorite Janet Jackson song of all time. If you haven't seen her documentary, check it out. I'm not sure for where it's streaming because I still have yet to find it, but check it out. And then they ended with Rock Your Body, Remove Your Breastplate.
Rock,
pretty much.
Rock that body for show. If you want to know how, bad the reaction was to that, the next person they got was Paul McCartney by himself. By himself.
What was going on through their head at the time when you're like, okay, who are we going to find this season to be?
They were like
to have like an impact, but not be at risk of doing anything crazy.
What's the least titty that could ever be on TV? That is Paul McCartney. They went with the Rolling Stones the year after. They were like, wait a minute. The Rolling Stones, like, there could be, you know, with the Rolling Stones, they could do something crazy, you know. There could be like a wardrobe malfunction with Mick Jagger's pants. But Paul McCartney.
Oh my God. So Paul McCartney after Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction.
I mean,
there's two
he
accents
was
right
the
there.
pick,
Sorry.
right?
I mean, I'm not against it because he did Hey Jude, did he not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did Drive My Car, Get Back, Live and Let Die, also done by Guns N' Roses, originally written by Paul McCartney, and then Hey Jude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, Live and Let Die was that wasn't Beatles, that was the Wings.
Was it?
Yeah, because he did that for James Bond.
No, I didn't know that. Nice. Sweet. And then after 2006, this virtuoso over here decided he was going to, in heels, play in the rain with live instruments, that guitar, his other guitar he's got, that's a Hohner Mad Catz Prince, I believe, Printz. And then he's going to have his dancers out there with him, the twins, both of them in heels. It's pouring down rain. How awesome, how much more badass can you get with that?
You know what's weird? In the era of like classic music that they did, I don't know why, but I always thought like Brooks and Dunn, like there was like a country year. There wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else is strange? I always thought that it was capped off by that incredible performance by Prince. But it wasn't. Like Bruce Springsteen and then The Who were after him. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, like I have it in my mind that he did his thing and it was like, oh man, that was so good. Let's like just stop with the old people because they're never going to beat that. And they didn't. They didn't, but yeah.
And like, let's also step back and talk on the fact of how he miraculously perfectly performs Purple Rain and it's pouring down rain. And from the views and the documentaries I've seen, like right before he started doing that performance, they said it literally started pouring down rain. Like it intensified right as that song was getting ready to be played.
The big sheet came up and it was all like soaking wet. Yeah.
Right. And then also let's not shadow the fact that he also not only did his music, but he also threw in the Best of You by the Foo Fighters because he loved the Foo Fighters. He's a big fan of Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, so he had to throw that one in there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I haven't seen Dave's reaction on that, but that was pretty cool too. But yeah, the 2000s were just kind of you had to get two more, I guess you would say, versions out before the end of that decade there, and Prince kind of came in and set the bar high. But then the Black Eyed Peas did I.
Let me ask you a question that is might be polarizing.
Oh boy.
2005 to 2010. All right. Paul McCartney, Rolling Stones, Prince, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, and The Who. Who is the least of that group? Not by performance.
Like the least, like entertaining?
Who is the least, like of all the artists? Like if you had to rank the artists, who's the least of that group?
You mean that list again?
Pretty solid group.
Yeah, rail that off again.
All right. It was Paul McCartney and the Rolling Stones, which I think if you're saying Paul McCartney, the Beatles, that's number 1 and number 2. All time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then there's Prince, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, and The Who. That was what was before we got Black Eyed Peas and the Madonna and Beyonce. So of that group, that run of 6 Super Bowls, that was all like classic rock and roll. Who is the least of that group?
I gotta go with The Who. Wait, are you like in terms of like popularity or?
Yeah, popularity.
Who?
You think so?
Just because The Who's a little bit more. They radiate more with an older crowd that is also slightly Bruce Springsteen, but also not Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen has one thing The Who doesn't have, and that's a 4th of July song.
Rough voice. That's exactly what that is.
He's got a 4th of July song. So, like, even if you don't really know his music as well, you know, born in the
he does have the 4th of
USA,
July.
I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think you're probably right about that, actually.
Thank you, Q Makes Musical Fireworks.
Yeah. Okay, of that group, who do you think is the most like, wow, I can't believe they got that? I tell you who I think mine is.
I mean,
Prince.
mine, yeah. I mean, it's Prince, hands down. But also, it's just almost like how do you? I mean, but it's like at the same time, he does. Sir Paul McCartney does way more than what Prince did as far as getting out, just because Prince was in the studio 24/7.
Well, Paul
working.
McCartney, it makes sense. Like, I mean, that cements legacy. Like, you know, he's the man. You know, I mean, that probably was a tough get. You know what I mean? Because he's so huge. But imagine you're like, listen, this is the biggest music event show
of the year.
Yeah. And
like
you're
it's
the biggest
considered bigger
artist.
than AMAs, Grammys.
Yeah. You're the biggest artist of all time. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
and that's not hyperbole. But he is. Is he not?
He has to be.
The highest selling musical group ever. He's got #1 hits with another band and by himself.
How? How?
Just like looking
like
at
literally
your Prince poster.
How? Well, it's a canvas I turned into actually an acoustic panel.
I mean, it looks cool.
But no, yeah. I was going to put somebody else on this wall over here, but I couldn't. I can't find a canvas in the right size, so I just have to put Prince here, Mike back there. And
I keep moving into like more boring rooms, and your room just gets cooler and cooler every time.
Oh no, it might be just the angle, but I haven't. There's no, the only thing I'm doing left of this is getting a piano and putting it right there.
Right.
That's about it. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do that whenever. I mean, you have that kind of that grouping of artists was pretty dang dominant. It's like as far as like as them being icons is considered, especially Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I mean, it was just. Especially with Bruce having the E Street band, it's just like hello. So, but
I mean, speaking of Tom Brady, he didn't win a Super Bowl in that era at all. So,
thank you, Tom. As a Colts fan, I'm glad you're gone. But as a football fan, I'm very thankful I got to see you play for 22 years.
I cried. He told me he was going to play till he was 45.
I got emotional, I won't lie. I was like, I wanted him to see 45 and out. But he couldn't do it. So I don't blame him, though. He got nothing to prove.
Here's the thing. These guys are super popular, right? But do you think they went a little bit too long on, like, the old school guys?
What do you mean too long?
Did they do it for too long? 6 years. Just playing, old school music, yeah.
I mean,
because I can tell you, I literally don't remember even one moment of the Bruce Springsteen halftime show. Not even one moment.
Well, here's my thing. I think a lot of the most popular music at that time was hip hop. That was 2009. I mean, and that was I remember from if it wasn't hip hop, it was
Adele.
Adele or Panic at the Disco or My Chemical Romance. It was rap, melodic pop, which was Adele, and then punk music at the time.
System of a Down would have been big. Green Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, and that's tough music to bring to the mass. But that is what was popular.
It is. But I think,
But you could have had a country show in there at some point, right? I mean, they had one in the 90s.
I think they probably could have done one 2009 with like Keith Urban.
I think they could have done one with Garth Brooks.
Has he not done one yet?
No. Imagine that.
Oh my God.
That would be such a good
every Super Bowl party would be the freaking ridiculously huge event. I mean,
you just finished the Super Bowl halftime show with Friends and Low Pace, and like the teams are like, you know what? We don't even need to come out for the second half. Like that was fine. That was fine. We can end on that.
Cloud of cigar smoke coming from the freaking locker rooms. Oh man, that would be great. That really would be great if Garth would do it. I'm trying to think of let's have Vanilla Ice do one.
Garth Brooks, Vanilla Ice, and the hologram
Ice
of
Ice
Biz
Nashville. Okay. Wait a minute. So I'm looking at this lineup here in 2012. I forgot this is when they were in Indy. Madonna was with LMFAO,
Yep.
And then she had Center Grove, Avon, Fishers, Franklin Central, and Southern University.
Yeah.
As far as dancing and drumline's concerned, so that's pretty cool. After that this one I kind of felt was a little too hyped up, just because of who was involved, but it was a good show.
Yeah. Good memes.
Got good. It was a good show. Very good show. And then 2014, my boy Bruno got on stage and killed it and brought on quite possibly one band that I never had an inkling would be involved with the halftime show, especially involved with Bruno Mars, the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, that's the best halftime show of all time. That I've seen. The best halftime show of all time is obviously Michael Jackson's, because of all the, where he appeared in one spot and in another spot. Then he stood there for like 2.5 minutes or something, and then went into his song. I mean, that's the coolest thing ever, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I would have been 3 years old. No, I would have been 2 years old at the time. But that Bruno Mars is the best halftime show I've ever seen. I'm not sure it's close, actually.
It's like, for me, like, if we're going into this route, number one, it's got to be Mike. Number two, it's Bruno. And I'm sorry, it's Bruno and the Chili Peppers. Number three, Prince. And then I'll cap. I don't have a fifth. I'll just throw in number four. Timberlake show.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, his was really good. It is definitely better when it's only one person. Like, Justin Timberlake's was really good. Lady Gaga's was pretty good. Bruno Mars had the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but it was more just him, I
mean, he had the Tennessee Kids with him, but, I mean, that's just his band in general.
And that's circling back to present. Do you think that this halftime show is going to suffer due to the fact, like, would it have been better if it would have just been like Trey, Snoop, and Eminem, and just forget the other two?
I think it could be done without the other two, but I'm glad they're doing it with Mary J. and Kendrick. So I think having Kendrick there is going to hit a different age group.
I know why they're doing it.
And still hit Dre and Eminem and all that, but...
Yeah, I know why they're doing it, but, like, would it be better?
He's also from Compton, so he's from Cali alone, too, so...
I hear that.
That might have something to do with it. But, yeah. And then we had, after Timberlake, we had Maroon 5.
Right.
So, and then who did we have? After that, we had Shakira and Jlo.
Oh, yeah, that's not on this list. This is old.
Yeah, because we're going into 2020s here.
Yeah.
So we had Shakira and Jlo, quite a lineup, and they killed it.
Yeah,
100% hands down.
They did well.
They did really good.
They reminded me that I could be attracted to 50-year-old women. Oops.
I mean, when they shake like that. I'm just saying. No. After that, we had quite possibly was one that got a lot of flack. Was The Weeknd's performance, and his was
good. His was fine.
It was
I just
okay.
don't like The Weeknd.
I wasn't impressed.
It's not his fault that he's not like an all-time great artist. I thought he did fine.
He's good, but he's like a To me, he's like a 2010, 2020s Maxwell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not an all-time great artist. Like everyone else Maroon 5 and The Weeknd are probably the two weakest of all of the headliners. Because obviously, like, Madonna was with LMAFO or whatever. And who cares? But it's still Madonna, right? So, I mean, Maroon 5 and The Weeknd are like number 1 and number 2 on weakest. Because even Coldplay, they don't have the radio hits of those two, but that's a massive band.
Yeah. It's they kind of expanded across some genres and some areas there, so it's I see what you're getting at with that.
But don't forget, the reason why The Weeknd was the halftime show is because of like COVID protocol and stuff like that. And a lot of the major artists that they wanted to get didn't want to do it. And then he was cool to do it. And he did it by himself.
Oh, yeah. I heard something about it. Like, he just laid out the whole plan for the whole show. As far as like the arrangement was concerned.
Yeah, he basically pitched an idea. And they were like, okay, we'll let you do it. That's the whole reason why he even got it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm about to look into that.
I thought he did a good job. I don't love The Weeknd, but I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, it was good. Not like one of my top rated ones, but it was good.
It would have been way cooler if he would have brought out Daft Punk and they did Starboy.
Yeah, if he would have had those two involved, which I don't know why he didn't.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. They worked together.
Yeah, that'd have been... Okay, so from what I'm seeing here, there's an apparent listing of what may be played. And this is according to the Billboard. According to Billboard, we're expected to see Still Dre, Gin and Juice, Drop It Like It's Hot, The Next Episode, The Real Slim Shady, Lose Yourself, Humble, All the Stars. Definitely see that being in a football stadium. Nothing But a G Thing. And guess what's at the end of the list, Zach?
What?
California Love. If I don't see a freaking Tupac hologram, I'm gonna be pissed. But that's quite a lineup of songs.
Right.
That's not gonna be a short halftime show. I think it's gonna be more than 20 minutes. I don't think you can cut those songs down into 20 minutes.
You could do like a verse and a chorus.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think, cause like the next episode is. I mean, you could do next episode into, dun, 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 I mean, into Still Dre, as a transition, but I don't know.
Hold up.
Family Affair, Nothing But a G Thing, California Love.
So wait, what were the Eminem songs? Real Slim Shady.
The Real Slim Shady and Lose Yourself.
Me. Okay, yeah. So Real Slim Shady, not Without Me.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They better have a bunch of Slim Shadys out in the crowd. Take advantage of people being there and put some blonde wigs and put a bunch of stands. Yeah. Some Slim Jims, Slim Shadys.
That would be kind of cool if that's how it came out. You know, he's in the crowd like with a bunch of himself. Kind of like, yeah.
What if he went back to blonde just for that performance? He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
So Humble and what for Kendrick?
All the Stars.
I kind of figured that he would do DNA. But
yeah, DNA was in the back of my head.
I actually figured it would be Humble and DNA, but that makes sense.
Yeah. It looks like they're gonna ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Two loped out teams going crazy. So Mary J's only getting one track of according to this.
Yeah, I mean that.
If I'm not mistaken, Family Affair was produced by Dre.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, that's why. That's why, because she was with Death Row, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a period of time, not like the majority of her career, but for a period of time. Well, that is quite the apparent lineup of what we may see. Hard telling what they're going to do as far as performance is concerned. But you've heard it here, folks. That's what we are looking to see for the Super Bowl halftime show of Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar.
I mean, the only way it could be better is if it was like ODB and Khalees.
Milkshake. Oh man, that would be funny. I mean, to the yard, get it? Football, longest yard. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. Anyways, all right. Before we let everybody go, Zach.
It hit with somebody.
Yeah. Somehow like, that's funny. No, but what do you think? What do you think the turnout of the Super Bowl is going to be?
What do you mean?
Who do you think's going to win?
I mean, I keep
Who do you think's going to win? Who do you want to win?
Or they'll lose. I think they're going to lose. I keep saying it, and then they don't ever lose. Like the Bengals.
Joey B.
The Bengals have won 3 games in these playoffs in 3 completely different ways. Like they held control and looked like the better team and almost lost it, but ended up winning it. Then they got thoroughly outplayed with the exception of like the other team's quarterback throwing interceptions so bad that I need him to be cut. And then the other one, they're getting blasted and they come back and win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's...
They had no business winning 2 of those games, and yet they still did. And then they had no business losing the first one. They almost did, and they didn't. So it's like, do I keep telling myself that the Bengals are going to lose? But I'm going to go with the Rams.
I think that's what everybody's telling themselves right now, is that the Bengals are going to lose.
I'm still going with the Rams. I mean, the Rams went all in this year. They got Von Miller. They got Beckham, who's playing out of his mind. Matthew Stafford is like, if Phillip Rivers is in the Hall of Fame, so am I. But I'm also going to have a Super Bowl. Like, and like Sean McVay has been there. I got beat by Brady and Belichick. You know what I mean? Like, Zach Taylor, like, as good as the Bengals have done, the fact that Sean McVay has been there and been outplayed and outgamed by Belichick is going to be so, like, something that I'm not sure Zach Taylor can handle. So.
Yeah. I think that game solely, as far as the Bengals are concerned, it's going to fall solely on Joe Burrow and that team doing whatever the heck they did at halftime of the divisional championship there, coming out and flipping a switch. And I'm not saying I don't jump on bandwagons. I haven't been one of the people that has jumped on the Pat Mahomes bandwagon saying that he's a freaking GOAT already.
Right.
Dude's good.
He is good.
But he's good. But you can't but
all this
like,
Tom
he's
Brady
not even
comparison is ridiculous.
That's gotta stop. I'll tell you somebody who I'm really looking forward to watching through his career is Josh Allen. Anyways, I saw shades of both Manning and Brady and Joe Burrow in that game, and it's kind of scary. If he keeps the head on his shoulders and that team stays solid, that boy is going to do some damage. As long as you learn how to slide, dude.
Well, listen.
Just go down.
There's one thing.
The ref told you.
There's one thing that we know. Both of our teams are in the AFC South, and neither of them have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Justin Herbert. So we're about to be in about a decade of hurt. So, but I'm used to it. So,
and don't we play we play the Bengals next year too? Like one of the first 2 or 3 games we play the Bengals here in Indy.
Well, we do. so
I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, I think it'll be a good game. The thing is I see that game going very similar to how like the Bengals and the Titans game was, but they have Matt Stafford and not Ryan Tannehill. And so, I mean, if Ryan Tannehill just doesn't throw that second interception, the Titan wins that game by 10 points, 10 or 13 points for sure. But he just kept throwing picks, and I just don't think Matt Stafford is going to do it. I think he's going to show.
He's got too big of a chip on his shoulder. He ain't going out on this. But that's the thing is like I know, like Joey B's not going to go out either.
No,
but
it'll be
he's
a good
also
game.
he also doesn't have 9 years of built up. I'm going to get my chip right here, right now.
Yeah.
I'm going for it, built up behind his arm. Like I'm torn because I want the Bengals to win because I think it would be good and I like what they've got coming. But I also think it's Stafford's time, it's
Right.
OBJ's time. And it's Von Miller's time. Not taking any consideration out from Aaron Donald, but those 3 guys right there, man, they deserve it.
Well, I mean, Von Miller already won a Super Bowl for Peyton Manning, so he might as well do it for Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, he lucked into it. I mean, Sean McVay is a football genius, pretty much, from what I'm seeing. He's remembering plays from like 5 years ago.
All right. My question. What's more like... So I got the Rams. What do you got? You got the Bengals or the Rams?
I want the Bengals, but realistically, my heart's saying Rams are going to win it out. Because I just like I said, I can't go against Stafford pulling this out.
I think we're both on the same page there. I'd be down with the Bengals.
But the only thing that worries me is that the second half adjustment, man.
Yeah. So the question is, what's more likely? This halftime show being trash or the game being trash? What's more likely? Because
I would say more likely the halftime show being trash, just in case it's not arranged correctly, and whoever does and designs, like as far as show goes, for like performance wise, screws it up.
So you're that confident in a good game?
I think it won't be a blowout, but it'll be decent to where the Bengals will still have some sort of a fight in them. I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout.
There's more of a chance that this halftime show is just total garbage than the game is.
Kind of, yeah. It worries me just how the halftime shows have been in the past, but also I can't take faith out of the people who's involved with it and who's performing just because of one, the lineup, two, my goat's involved, and it's just like, I don't know. But I guess I'm just saying because I don't want to have my hopes up. So yeah, I'm rooting for the Bengals to win it, but I kind of have a feeling the Rams are going to come out on top just because they seem more dominant. And I also have a feeling that we may see a hologram of Tupac. Don't take my word on it, but I'm hoping for it. And I'm also hoping, and I also think, that we're going to have probably one of the best halftime shows that we've seen in quite some time. As long as nobody messes it up. The arrangements are done right. They give a good inclusion as far as Mary J. Blige is concerned. And having her involved, not just for a family affair. And yeah, I think it would be a good one. Tight game, maybe. Tight game. But all right, everybody. This has been the Super Bowl episode of the Scales of Music Podcast, episode 1 of season 2. Be on the lookout for episodes such as this with topics and also my regular music recommendations as well. And I think Zach may even toss them in there as well.
If you haven't listened to Imaginary Appalachia by Coulter Wall, do that today.
Imaginary what?
Imaginary Appalachia. Or Appalachia, however you want to call it.
Oh, Imaginary Appalachia.
He was one of the guys that Eric brought up, and I've been listening to him ever since. So that's my recommendation before we sign off.
Nice. My brief recommendation is to look up No One Else on Earth by Miss Winona Judd. Been on a little country kind of folk blues kick as of late, and I went back to 1992, and it's one of the first sounds that my mom played for me, and I loved it, which will also be one of our upcoming recommendations as far as Michael's Music Mondays are concerned. The album will be, but that song, you gotta listen to it. No One Else on Earth. It's great. Ladies and gentlemen.
On the next episode, we will be talking about why We Don't Talk About Bruno is so popular.
You heard it here, folks. It's going to be an in-depth, kind of very edgy discussion. So be ready for it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael and Zach here, Discussing Music Podcast. We love y'all. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you then. Peace.